had ultimately resulted in a rivalry that continued today. Of course, my friends knew what was between us, and upon seeing me glance at her, they shifted their attention to her. God.
She doesn't even look like she's working, in my opinion.
Who cares? Do your own job!
She probably is, but she's too much of a stuck-up priss to allow herself to look like she's actually doing work.
Oh, come on, Suzu. She may be a little off-putting, but she's not the giant priss that you're making her seem to be.
The day she isn't a priss is the day I turn into you.
Savage. Oh, so
What's
savage.
that
The burn.
supposed to mean?
Wow. As cool as Suzu tries to be, she's not.
Never mind.
Although, okay, I guess you could call that good writing almost. That, like, both Suzu and Naomi both try to act, like, super cool on different opposite ends of the spectrum, but they both are kind of just losers.
It's about time. Let's bail.
It's probably accidental good writing. Because I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be viewed as cool. Like, this is the cool kids. The actual cool kids. And everybody else sucks. But I don't know. This is an old game. Written with some very interesting viewpoints. So, I don't know. It's hard to hate this game. Like, the more I play it, the more I'm just like, it's actually all brilliant A-grade writing, and everybody who says it's bad is wrong. Unsurprisingly, Susie was the first out of the classroom, slinging her backpack over her shoulder with ease as she quickly strolled out the door.
Her seat isn't even closest to the exit, and she always manages to be the first one out of the door. I don't think I'll ever understand that.
Me and you both, Naomi. Even though I don't want to agree with you. So you saw that little blue symbol that appeared? There's a lot of different symbols that appeared during the game. There's the blue one, that's that like sigil thing, that's for order. And then there's a red one, that's for chaos, which is very interesting. I'm not sure if they have any impact on the story for romantic route endings. But they are how you get one of the two non-romance endings. Like I haven't gotten the chaos one, and I definitely want to do that sometime during the stream. But the other symbols that appear will be color-coded based on which boy we're seducing. I was gonna say romancing, but seducing just makes more sense for this game. Unfortunately, there are no symbols of affection for any of the bonus romantic rounds. There's 4 of them, and they don't have symbols, which is, I think it's kind of a good thing, because it lets you, know that there are secrets in the game, and it's not all just laid out there. And replayability. But, I could literally just open up a guide if I got a little bit confused on if I was romancing one of the bonus characters right, which there's only 3 left because I already romanced Diana. Finally! But that's what the symbols mean, so, because they don't explain that in the game ever at all. She gave me a smile, as if relieved by the fact that I felt the same way as she did.
See? Why can't she just be normal like the two of us?
It's Suzu, Naomi. Think about it.
Very true.
Man, you guys are slow. Are you coming or what?
We heard you the first time. Not everyone has rocket boosters attached to their legs when the bell rings.
Are you kidding me? That class was ridiculously boring. Even Miss Valedictorian here was dozing off a bit.
Ha ha ha! I do have to admit, I was spacing out. And just because I answered one question doesn't mean I'm automatically the valedictorian.
Okay, so it wasn't too interesting. But you should at least pay attention when Phillips is talking about the important parts.
Because we're definitely going to know when the important parts are if we're not paying attention. That's how that works.
So you finally admit it. We're finally on the same wavelength. Welcome to the club, Patterson.
Please, don't call me by my last name. This isn't the classroom. And never in a million years will we ever see things eye to eye.
So, we can be called by our last name, but not you, Naomi? Okay. Alright. Despite this, they both burst out in laughter. Normally, anyone would think that opposites like them wouldn't ever associate with each other. But even though they were so different, their friendship somehow made a lot of sense. Just want them to kiss. Why can't they be the lesbians, huh? Why do I have to be the lesbian? Maybe they were just perfect complements, or personality just didn't dictate the possibility of their friendship. After all, we three had been best friends since preschool.
Alright, so where are we heading to first? Cafeteria? I think we can all agree that we're really hungry, especially after hearing about our company's line of deliciously spicy bubblegum.
Who would even buy that? I wonder.
I mean, I don't know who would buy, like, spicy bubblegum, but cinnamon gum is, like, a thing, right? I mean, I haven't been able to eat gum in, like, over a decade, but cinnamon gum is still a thing, I'm pretty sure.
Me? I would pay good money to get a taste of it.
Ha 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 ha. You do like spicy food, after all. We entered the cafeteria, a bustling room filled with the aromas of different kinds of food. As we got in line, we ordered our meals and chatted freely.
Cajun fries and the spicy chicken burger for me. That's my definition of a good meal.
I'll take a tuna sandwich and some cheese. You're probably going to need water or something to curb all that spicy flavor, Suzu.
Water doesn't help with spice. You need milk. Water just reactivates the spice.
I can't be tamed by the likes of that. If it's spicy, then it's gotta be all or nothing.
You're crazy.
Hell yeah, I'm crazy.
I like how these interactions are like we're just meeting for the first time.
I think I'm getting a migraine.
I think I'll go with... I'm gonna have mac and cheese and a soda because legitimately I'm having a soda right now and I have some Stouffer's mac and cheese in the freezer and that's probably what I'm gonna eat during one of the longer breaks. So, as much as I want to agree with Naomi as much as possible, we don't have to agree with her on tuna. I hate seafood. Once we got our food, we settled down at one of the empty tables, putting our backpacks aside to finally dig into the food. Suzu leaned back in her chair, tilting it back so that she could rest her feet on the table by her food.
All right then. Is there anything we want to talk about?
I don't know. Let's let the meeting begin.
Bored already?
I know. Let's talk about
Boys!
Say boys, and I will never speak to you ever again.
Let her be a lesbian.
Aw, why not?
What's so interesting about talking about guys? Not like any of us are gonna get boyfriends anytime soon.
Not for at least another 2 hours, we're not.
We don't know that. What if one of us does get a boyfriend?
Like that's going to happen, Naomi. Look at us. I'm a tiny Italian. You're a ditzy blonde.
Blonde.
Hey!
No offense. And Anderson here. Well, I guess she could land a boyfriend or girlfriend if she wants.
With my boring outfit, my boring
Or
personality.
She can be a lesbian if she wants.
Yeah, Naomi! Coming for you later!
True.
That's okay, Suzu. I'm not sure I want a boyfriend yet.
Why not? It's our senior year. Might as well get a boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, she's not wrong. I mean, if it's your last year of high school, you might as well dick around with somebody. Jeez.
Maybe she's just not interested in a relationship, Suzu.
That's me right now, unless it's with a woman or a very rich man. Well, really wasn't about wanting a relationship, but more of there was no one interesting enough to be in a relationship with because I'm yawning because I'm always tired even when I'm wide awake. Don't get me wrong, I'm an open person. but there were not many interesting guys in the school to go out with. Who knows? Time will tell. Naomi looked at me, wanting to continue the conversation. However, before she could speak, the speakers in the cafe started up and an announcement echoed through the cafeteria.
Miss Anderson, please come to the main office immediately. Please bring your things with you.
Oh my.
Looks like our plans have been cut short. The men in white coats have finally come to get you.
Suzu, don't joke around. What if it's serious?
No way it's serious. Totally not serious.
Fine. If something happens, just call us.
Funny enough, something did happen. And it was certainly no laughing matter. Cold. It was really cold. The rain became heavier that afternoon, accompanied by rolling thunder now and then. It makes me think of that one song, Down Under. I'd play it, but I don't want to go through the trouble of having a muted VOD that's 24 hours long. Listen to it on break. It's great. The skies had turned dark, though I couldn't see any of it under the black umbrella. Black umbrella. Very important. Not that I was looking up. In fact, looking up was the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. I stared at the grass beneath my feet, unable to look up at the people weeping around me. All I could see was the damp grass underneath my feet. Only the monotone eulogies that floated through my ears reminded me that I was at a funeral. It was only when the speeches ended that I finally was able to raise my head. A small gathering of people, mostly made of relatives that I didn't even know were related to me, were huddled around a simple, small grave. For a while, all I heard was the sound of raindrops on umbrellas. If it weren't raining, everything would probably be in a heavy silence. I looked beside me, where my father was standing and holding up a large black umbrella for our small family of 3. His face was emotionless, a strange sight next to my weeping mother. I wondered what was going through his mind. After all, etched into the smooth gray tombstone before us was that underbite. Gotta love it. Before us was his father's name. My grandfather, the one who raised me like his own daughter, had passed away that day. The ceremony was small. Only close family were allowed to come. Close family, like all of these relatives we don't know. Slowly, though, people began to leave, leaving my father, mother, and me. It's supposed to be and I behind at the grave. A man dressed in a clean black suit under the uniform black umbrella of the funeral attendees walked toward us, introducing himself as grandfather's lawyer. No name, just grandfather's lawyer. He pulled out a few documents from his suitcase and began to read aloud its contents.
And now, I shall read Harold Anderson's last will and testament.
Only my parents and I were allowed to be present for my grandfather's will. It was under the strict request of his lawyer, and there was a reason why.
And to my dearest granddaughter, I give my estate. All the furniture and decor that resides within the house shall also be given to my granddaughter.
What? I couldn't believe my ears. I had earned the family estate at 18? That was impossible! And yet it was written by my own grandfather's hand. That's a bit of an assumption, but...
He passed the family estate to her? Why am I not surprised?
I don't know, man.
Dear.
Well, did he say anything about what will become of the CEO and chairman position of the Anderson Toys Company?
No. It is presumed that the vice chairman will succeed the position.
Even to the bitter end, he wouldn't give in. What a stubborn old man.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, when it comes to, like, companies and, like, who runs them, if a CEO dies, I thought it, like, they couldn't just give the position to somebody else. I thought it was something that the board, like, the board of directors or whatever, all I know is that it's a board, has to, like, agree and vote on it. Or that it's, like, determined by, like, shareholders or something. I don't know. I've only really seen stuff in the movies, so, I remember watching Iron Fist, and that was a thing, so maybe it is? I don't know. The two main things I'm thinking of when it comes to, like, three things I should say I'm thinking of when it comes to, like, you know, CEO positions and everything is Iron Fist. There was an episode there's actually a few episodes of Person of Interest where there's, like, issues with the board and who leads, but the episode with the billionaire, that's, like, one of my favorite episodes, by the way. And Arrow in season 2 when he accidentally, he signed over the company. So I guess someone can sign over their company to somebody. That, or, I don't know, it's movies and Otomes. I don't know. I guess I answered my own question in the end. Shaking his head, my father turned to face my mother with a serious expression on his face. Does he have any other expression ever in this entire game?
About the estate. Should we send her there to get used to the building? It'll be a good place for her to live after high school.
I don't know, man. I'm still thinking about our dead family member. I can't really think about where I'm going to be living right now.
Are you sure we should?
Why are you even considering it, Mom?
Why not? This would be a good experience for her.
What about the good experience of letting me mourn for a couple of days?
Honey, what do you think?
I don't know what to think. Really wasn't sure what to say. Why did my grandfather think that I was the appropriate heir to the mansion? Was I even ready to live on my own? Well, he probably wasn't planning to die when you were 18. He probably thought, I'll be dead in like 20 years, and that you'd be maybe like late 20s, and you'd get the estate.
Well, that seems to be it. We'll be taking our leave now. I'm sure the little heiress needs...
Oh my God! I almost forgot just how savage the dad is. Like, I know I watched somebody else play through it, but I was kind of like lurking in their stream. And dear fucking God, like, the little heiress needs some time to adjust. What in the world? This dad is the worst. I don't know who the writers were of this game, but they had some serious daddy issues because nothing Mr. Anderson does in this entire game is the least bit redeemable by any means.
David.
Yeah, David. Even though she raised her voice, my dad wordlessly began walking back to the car, disinterested, with the umbrella. The black umbrella.
Don't mind him, honey. I think that your grandfather's passing really affected him. Why don't we get back home for now?
You're a terrible mom. You can go on ahead to the car. I think I need some time alone with Grandpappy.
Oh, of course. Take all the time you need.
Yeah, thank you! Shouldn't have even been, like, a question. She gave me a quick hug and hurried after my dad. I looked around the funeral grounds, which were completely empty, save for the sullen-looking grave that was laid in front of me. I'm sure that if Grandpappy were in charge of arranging all of this, it would have been much different. It was blatantly obvious that my dad was in charge of the whole event. Who else would bury their own family the same day they pass away? Everyone knew my grandfather's love for toys, and yet the grave was a mere stone slab on the ground, void of any children's toys. My dad didn't even bother putting flowers. Well, apparently nobody did. His disdain for my grandfather was almost pitiful. Sorry, Grandpappy. I tried to force out some words, but the only thing that came out was a choked sob. You told me to stay strong, but right now I'm the farthest from it. Like that one time, a long time ago. Flashback, flashback, flashback. Grandpappy!
Oh, it's so good to see you again, sweetie.
I need them to remake this game. Oh god, I'm gonna cry. I was swept into a giant bear hug. We both laughed as he swung me around like an airplane. It was one of my favorite things about seeing my grandfather. The way he greeted I don't know why I'm like on the verge of tears right now. Unlike my father, my grandpappy was loving and playful, even as I grew older. Sorry that Daddy couldn't be here today. He said that he wasn't feeling too good again. It had always been like that. Dad missed every visit to Dad missed every visit to Grandpa's house, citing that he was busy with work or wasn't feeling well.
Is that so? Well, that's okay. Daddy can come around next time. And you're here, right?
Apparently Mommy's not here either. Yeah! So what are we doing today, Grandpappy? Mommy says that there's a new dessert cafe open in town. Maybe we could go.
Oh, I would love to. But I've been so busy with the company these days. We're actually working on a little something. Would you like to see?
Why can't our mom take us? She's the one that told us about it. Yes, ooh, is that a toy?
It is. I was designing a new line of them, but I feel like something's missing. You don't think you could help me out, could you?
Sure, child labor. Of course! He placed the toy in my hands with a smile, and I inspected it carefully. It was beautifully crafted, and obviously a lot of work was put into it. There was one thing, though.
So, what do you think?
I think the heart on its chest should light up when you hug it. It'll be like it's alive, and it can be like a little nightlight before you sleep. 'Cause that's not expensive at all. He stroked his chin, considering my input while nodding his head. After a few moments of silent deliberation, he turned to me with a chuckle.
That's a great idea. I'll get to changing it right away. You're always like my little lucky charm, dear. You always know what to add to make the perfect toy.
All we did was put a light bulb in a bear. Aha! Ha ha! Well, I hope I can be like you one day, Grandpappy.
You want to make toys as well?
Sure. Making people happy is the best feeling in the world. I don't know if I want to make toys when I grow up, though.
Don't worry too much about it. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy as well.
Amen. That makes sense. Daddy doesn't think of it in the same way, though.
Your father. I'm sure he just wants the best for you.
He's an abusive cuck, and I hate him.
Sweetie, look at me.
He bent down to look at me eye level, with a serious look on his face.
As much as your father may say something that doesn't make sense now, you must remember that he's always thinking about you. He loves you. There's no doubt about that. And
No.
you need to love him just as equally.
Nope. I ain't here for that. I ain't here for that. Nope. I don't hate Daddy. I really do love him. I don't know why he's like this, though. Because he's got his own daddy issues, and he's taking them out on you.
Your father and I have had some difficulties with each other in the past. But it's nothing that you should be concerned about.
I had heard tidbits of this from my mother and various other people. The only people who had stayed quiet were my father and grandfather. Both of them refrained from saying a word on the subject matter, but it was clear that whatever happened set up a wall between them. It's hard, though, trying to pretend as if nothing were wrong.
However, no matter what, you have to stay strong.
Uh-uh.
You're a big girl already, and, well, there'll come a day when it seems like it's you against the world. But always remember that your family and friends will be here with you.
I ain't here for these messages. How can you be so sure of that?
Because we'll be right here and here.
He pointed his finger to my head first, and then pointed at my chest. Because my friends are my power!
So stay strong. Promise?
No, I don't have to stay strong. I'm like 5. For a moment, he looked almost sad, pleading. But as quickly as it come, the expression disappeared from his face, and he was all smiles once again. Promise! I can't do small children voices, especially with my bronchitis that I'm recovering from. I can still feel it a little bit, like, in the back of my throat. You know, just in case you didn't know what bronchitis felt like. It's like your entire body is trying to kill itself, but from the lungs outward. Anyway, upon hearing that, Grandpa let out a great burst of laughter and stood up.
All right, then.
Jesus
Enough of that.
Christ.
How about I whip up some special homemade dessert? I know I can't accompany you at that new cafe, but we sure can talk and eat while I cook and do some paperwork.
I mean, we kind of just helped you with your main problem. I don't see why we can't go to the cafe.
Hey, slow down there.
Oh, oops.
All right, then.
Okay, sorry. I skipped. I hit space and I thought it didn't go, so I hit it again. Homemade dessert! I'll race you to the kitchen.
Hey, slow down there. I'm not what I used to be.
Woo. They really needed to redo some of the lines, because the person who voices the grandfather, like, goes in and out of, like, old man voice. And that line right there, every time I play this game or, like, see it get played, that line right there always, like, brings me out of it. I'm like, whoa, it's definitely not Grandpappy. You willed me the very home I love to see you in. Why? Why would you think I would be ready to take it? Especially after... I keep burping. I'm so sorry. Especially after this. A surge of anger bubbled within me, but I quickly swallowed it, because it's not like he planned to die now. I'm sorry. It's hard to stay calm when you've left me with so many questions, especially about what happened between you and Dad. What am I doing? Talking to a grave. My vision blurred, and I suddenly realized that I was crying. My face heated up as tears rolled down my cheeks. I'll bring you some flowers later. I miss you, Grandpappy. I'll try my best to fulfill my promise I gave to you, even if the world might be turned against me. Or just your family. Your very abusive, shitty family. I left the grave, wiping my tears hastily so my parents wouldn't see.
Well, it's time to head back home. I'll cook up your favorite lasagna when we get home, okay?
Do you know how long lasagna takes to make? I bet she's using those ready noodles that are dry out of the box, but you can just stack them. That's not how lasagna's supposed to be. I want my, like, triple baked lasagna noodles. Although I'm more of a baked ziti kind of person myself, so. Thanks, man. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm definitely being overdramatic and purposefully terrible. But I don't know what I was going for with that. However, my dad didn't speak the entire drive home. I wanted to talk to him, but after his moment at the funeral, I wasn't sure if that was a good idea.
It's about time we took off those dreary black clothes.
We're not wearing black clothes. Gathering my courage, I decided then that it was time to talk. Dad, could I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Why do you want me to move into the estate so soon?
I thought I made that rather clear. The college near your grandfather's house is well known for its business program. You are planning to major in business, yes?
Why do you say that? Like, it's clearly a rhetorical question meant to spark Slappy's desire for freedom so that he can yell at her about not taking on the family business. Like, God, he's such a dick.
Right after you graduate from high school, you'll just live there and can easily commute to and from school. It's a perfect fit for you.
Okay. But it's so sudden. You just decided